Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the Appeon community webinar. Today's topic is how to develop real-life mobile applications with Appeon, and you'll get a chance to see this in action. Today's presenter is an Appeon community member, Fili Sosa, from the company Resizing and Colors. Before we begin, I'd like to put up a quick disclaimer and make sure you're all aware that this presentation today is done by an Appeon community member.
In the agenda, well, first of all, I'm going to give you an introduction about myself and about the company Resizing and Colors. One of the topics that we're going to be talking about is creating a responsive user interface. So we are going to be basing our design on a tablet, a design on the tablet, and that same design is going to work on the smartphone. Also, we're going to be using a device ID to remember the user. So it's a nice functionality that you can add to your mobile apps that you don't need to provide login credentials every time the users want to access the app. Another topic is we're going to be showing you how to create dynamically data sources. A data source, it's what Appeon needs to connect to a database. And we're going to show you how to read and write to NFC tags. We're going to show you a video on a real-life application in our case of our business. It's been very helpful. And Annotating Maps. Maps, it's a new functionality with Appeon, and we are going to show you some examples on how we've been using the maps in our applications. The monitoring travel with the GPS, we've implemented some apps and the GPS functionality in the mobile device. It's been very helpful with some of the functions that we need in our applications. Also in all your applications, maybe you will need to take in, resize, and upload pictures. So this is very important so you can resize your pictures, because normally when you take a picture on your mobile device, the size of the picture, it's about 1 megabyte or 2 megabytes. So it will take a long time when you are uploading that picture to the server. So Appeon, it's providing an object we can use, so we can go from 1 megabyte to 130 kilobytes. So then the image, it's going to upload faster to the server. We're going to be showing you how to capture signatures with an in-picture object. And finally, we're going to be inserting Google Charts in our applications. This is some of the this functionality of the PowerBuilder. We've been asking for a long time, but in the Sybase days, in the SAP days, but PowerBuilder did not have any progress in that. I am glad to know that Appeon, it's going to do some work to make better graphics. I think they have this on the roadmap for the Appeon 2019. But I mean, with this Google Chart functionality, you don't need to wait until that time to start adding very nice graphics to your applications. Okay, a little bit about myself. Well, my name is Fili Sosa. My key skills, I've been doing PowerBuilder for 23 years. I started on PowerBuilder 3.0. I also have been doing 17 years of Microsoft SQL Server. Appeon Web, we started in the year 2005, so I've been working with that product for 12 years. I mean, this is very interesting because I've been doing PowerBuilder for a long time, but in the last 12 years, I have not created any executable. I mean, all our applications are deployed to the web with Appeon, and we are very happy with the performance of the product. Also, I have 4 years with Appeon Mobile. Since it started in the year 2013 with a beta version, we started working with that product, and it's been getting better and better with every version. In the recent projects, well, in 2013, we implemented an SAP R3 interface with sizes and colors for Flexi, who is the largest shoe manufacturer in Mexico. In 2014, we implemented sizes and colors for Love Footwear, a retail chain with 140 shoe stores in Mexico. In 2015, we implemented sizes and colors for USA Shoes, a retail chain with 180 shoe stores in Mexico. And in 2016, we implemented sizes and colors for the customers in Colombia, and we did a very nice implementation for localize the software to meet the taxation requirements of that country. So that's some of my recent projects. My company, Sizes and Colors, well, it's Sizes and Colors is basically an ERP software for chains of shoe stores. We have been building our software for 20 years in PowerBuilder, and since the software is in Spanish, so basically Latin America, it's our target market, and as of today, more than 3,000 stores run our software on a daily basis. Some of the key facts of our software, well, it's deployed to the cloud at a data center in Dallas, Texas. Our applications were deployed to the web with Appeon 2016, and our applications run on 5 IIS servers running on Windows 2008 right now. And we are basically 3 developers using PowerBuilder 10.5. And this is a nice thing about PowerBuilder and Appeon together, because with the same skills that we have been able to do web development, iOS development, and Android development. Imagine if we needed to do an app for iOS with Objective-C, maybe we will need to hire 5 developers. And if we needed also the application with Android, well, we will need to hire another 5 developers. So I mean, we haven't needed any of that. We are just 3 developers, and with the same knowledge that we have with PowerScript and Microsoft SQL Server, we've been able to have great mobile apps for our users, and our users are very happy about this. The mobile applications run on a separate IIS server, and basically in the year 2016, our customers in Mexico sold 80 million pairs of shoes, and this represents 30% of the commercial shoe activity in our country. We have presence in 8 different countries, including the United States, and we are located in León, Mexico. Also, our sister company, Dora Sistemas, is the master distributor for Appeon in Latin America. So that's a little bit about myself, about my company. So let's start with the topics. This is the types of mobile apps that I'm going to be showing you in this presentation. We have like 10 mobile apps different, but since we just have 1 hour in this webinar, I'm going to be showing you just this part of these 3 applications. On the first one, we have SuperBee. This application is for store supervisor. Every chain of stores, well, they have supervisors. They go to the stores. They need to check if everything is okay at the store. They need to check if everything is clean, everything it's order in the warehouse. You need to check if the people is wearing the uniform. I mean, they have like 100 points or more to check on the checklist, and so we are giving them a tool so they can do a better job. And we are also using the GPS, so you as the manager can make sure that the supervisors are really going to the stores and do their job. We have also applications for sales assistants, and this application, it's very nice because right now, remember, technology, it's doing a lot of changes in the retail industry. So companies need to focus, instead of just offering products, they need to offer customer experiences. So, because I mean, if you go and buy a pair of Nikes, the same product you will find, you will be looking for them at different stores, but what will make the difference, it's the customer experience. So we are giving the sales assistants the power. We are empowering them with the tools so they can have a better relationship with the customers. For example, we are giving them these where they can check inventory. I mean, if you've been to the shoe store and you ask for a product on a specific size, and maybe the salesman goes to the warehouse, and then after 10 minutes they return and they tell you, hey, sorry, I don't have this item in your size. So I mean, that's you wasted 10 minutes of your time just waiting for a salesman to tell you that. And with this application, we are empowering the sales assistant so you can so he can tell the customer in real time if the product that they are looking for, it's available on their size. Okay, this is for sales assistants. I'm going to be showing you also this application. And we also have application for store owners. Okay, if you are the owner of a chain of 100 stores, I mean, you will be looking for real-time information about the stores, the sales in real time. Maybe you will be, you want to know about the most sold items. I mean, there are a lot of information that you may want to have available about your stores. So we're going to be looking at these types of mobile applications. Creating a responsive user interface. Okay, we recommend you to start the window design for larger devices. Okay, once that you have the icons, let's go to, I'm going to my development server right here. Okay, I'm going to show you this menu. Okay, this is PowerBuilder 10.5 you're looking to. And basically right here I have this window and have these picture buttons, and the size of the screen is basically what you will need for your window. That's what we recommend. This is the size of the window. And this window basically will fit very well on the iPad. But if you take this same window to the iPhone, well, you maybe have, it will not look very good. So I'm going to show you what will happen if I remove some lines of code, and let's see how this looks in the iPhone. Okay, I'm going to use the Appeon object to resize all controls in the windows. So Appeon, it's providing you, when you install Appeon, it's providing you this library, it's Appeon workarounds. And in this library, you have this object, Appeon resize. So basically, if you're familiar with PFC, PowerBuilder Foundation classes, if you work with PFC in the past, I mean, you know that PFC has had this mechanism to resize all objects in your applications. Well, if you don't use the PFC in your mobile devices, what Appeon did was basically took the code of the PFC, basically for the resize part, and made a standalone object so you can use in your normal applications. So I'm going to show you how to do this. In the source code of the open event, we are going to need to init the service for the resize. So what we basically want to do is that this same window, we need to resize, okay, automatically the icons so they will fit on the iPhone, okay? But this will be in automatically. First of all, I init the service, and then I need to tell the service that we want them to resize the font to true, and that we want to zoom the data windows. Also, in the resize event, we need to use the function of resize, and with this, we are telling this that we want to resize all the objects in this window. Okay, I'm gonna show you. This is first of all, I'm gonna go to my base object, and on my base object I have this code that you can resize. I'm gonna put comments on the code so you can see how it looks on the iPhone, okay? And I'm gonna deploy this application so you can see how it works. Basically what Appeon does when it's installed on your computer, it adds this toolbar to your PowerBuilder IDE. So here I'm going to deploy, okay? I need to choose the project in local deployment, and that's it. So that's it, it's ready. I mean, you can run your application. I'm gonna show you right now. I need to bring my Air server project, and so you can see my my iPhone on the screen. Okay, I'm gonna load the application. That's my Appeon workspace, and that's what you have right there. You see, that's a very big screen. Okay, so I'm going to my base object again, and I'm going to add the lines of code so it can help me to resize according to my iPhone. Okay, I remove the comments from the code, and I'm going to deploy again. That's it. Okay, I need to close my application. Okay, there it is. That's my screen. So what the object did was basically modify all the objects according to the size of my iPhone. I'm using the username and the password. Here is the menu that I showed you. Okay, I want you also to see the menu, how it looks when I put the comments. I'm gonna put the comments again. I'm gonna deploy. Ready. Okay, I'm gonna exit the application, and I'm gonna go again. Okay, that's the menu that I showed you. So that menu will basically fit on an iPad, but I mean, you don't want to work twice or more times, because remember, there are a lot of sizes on mobile devices. You have tablets, you have iPad mini, you have iPad, you have iPad Pro, so you don't want to be working on a separate design for each window. So basically you start with a bigger screen, and that will help for your smaller devices. So here I'm saving again my window. I'm gonna deploy. Okay, I need to close my application. I load the application again. And And that's it. The object, what it did, it took proportional to the screen. It moves all your objects and make it fit perfectly on the screen. Okay, let's go and see the source code. Well, you saw the source code. Just 4 lines of code that you need to add to your application. You just need to add it once because you have a base object, and that base object it gets inherited for all your windows. So that's all the code you need. Okay. Using the device ID to remember the users, that's the next topic. The user needs to provide login credentials to access the app. After the user accesses the application for the first time, we can save the device ID for future reference, and the next time the user logs in, it will access automatically without the need to provide customer username and password. So Appeon workarounds, the same library as I told you before, has this object Eon Mobile Device X. It has functions that help a lot of information from your mobile device. You can get the memory available, you can get the type of mobile device, you can get the operating system, you can see if it's Android or if it is iOS, you can get the device ID, you can get many information about the device. And okay, so first of all, you need to create an instance of this object Eon Mobile Device X. You put it on an instance variable, and the first function, it gets a unique ID for that specific mobile device. So when you call the function and the device ID, it's going to be stored on this local string. Also, you want to get the operating system for that mobile device. So you call the function get platform, and the value it's going to be stored on this string variable. That's basically what you need. And what I'm showing you right here is that, okay, as I told you, if I access the application again, you see that it is not asking me for the username and password. I mean, if I use this app many times per day, if every time I need to be logging in, I mean, it is time consuming. So this is a nice functionality that we can add, and basically it's to show you how useful can be the device ID for that particular mobile device. I'm gonna close my session, so I'm basically deleting that record, so the next time I need to log in. So here's the window that I don't want to be appearing every time. So I'm gonna just tell you what happens. Okay, I'm logging in. Okay, this is the first time that I log in, and basically I'm in. If I close the application and I'm logging again, that's good. I mean, it didn't ask me again for the user and the password, so I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, let's go to the code. I'm going to go to the login, and in the login, in the open event, what I have, well, first of all, I need to connect to my main database. In that main database, I have a table in which I store every time the user logs in, I store the device ID. So to get the device ID, as I told you, I need to create an instance of this object and put it in the Eon device. Sorry about this. And basically right here, the get device ID. When I call this function, the return value gets right here in this window, in this local string. Then I can also call this function, the get platform, and I'm going to store the return value in this variable. Okay, since I'm on a mobile device, it is important that I can use effective my memory. So it is a good practice that you can destroy all your objects so you can be managing effectively your memory. So I'm not going to be using more functions on this object, so I just destroy it. Okay, once that I have the device ID, I'm going to my table and see if the device is already there. So if the device is already there, greater than 0 for the customer, I'm going to connect directly to the customer's database, and if the user can access to that application, the first thing that I do is I close this. What's this? Well, this is the window that I ask the username and the password. So I close this window, and then I directly open the menu with the buttons. So that's a very simple technique, so you can remember the user every time. And if you want to be asked again for the credentials, so as I showed you, basically I'm gonna close my session, and what this does is basically I go to that table and I delete the device ID, so the next time it will ask me again for the credentials. So that's a functionality that you can add to your mobile applications, and the user will be very happy about not having to enter user and password every time. Okay, let's go and see a source code. I already showed you how to do this the first time that the user accesses, and the subsequent times that the user accesses, well, it won't be asked for the credentials. Okay, one nice thing that was added in the Appeon 2016, it's functionality to create dynamically data sources. A data source, it's needed for connecting to a database. So every application needs a data source. Appeon provides this Appeon Enterprise Manager, so you can add manually your data sources. Here I ask you for the data source name, it asks you for the database type. Remember, Appeon supports many databases, including Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2, Informix, Oracle, MySQL, Postgre. In the last release of Appeon, they support Postgre. You provide the host, the IP of your servers, the database port, the database name, the username and the password, and many other values for the connection. So, I mean, in our case, we found this functionality very useful because we have 560 databases and growing every day, and every database needs a data source. So, right here, what I'm doing, I don't want to add manually the 560 data sources. I wanted to add it automatically. So Appeon Workarounds Pebble has the object Appeon dconfig data source. This object will help us to create the data sources dynamically. And we have this connection data needs to be stored in the structure Eon str connection. Okay, in the structure Eon str connection, we basically need to input the DB type, SQL Server in our case, the port 1433, the server, the username and the password, the database that we are going to be connecting to, and the data source name. So this is how we can refer to that connection. And then we have the structure with the information, and so we create an instance of this object, Appeon dconfig data source. So we create the instance. The first function that we call is edit data source, and if we don't find the data source, then we need to add the data source, and we are sending the structure with the connection information. Okay, let's go and see the source code, and we are going to go to a function called the connect to customers the database and create data source. Okay, right here, if I go to okay, I'm going to the login in the open. Okay, the function it's going to be called connect to customers database, and in this function, well, I send some parameters that the customer we are connecting, the server we are connecting, and the first thing, as you can see right here, we can connect to a database just by providing the data source. In this connection parameter, it's called cache name, but now they changed name. Instead of cache name, it's a data source. So you send here just the data source created, and you can connect here to the database. But before this happens, I mean, you need to make sure that the data source is created. So let's go and see this function, create data source. What this function is doing, okay, well, as I told you, first you have the structure, and you need to provide the SQL server, the DB type, the port, the server, the username, the password, command timeout, max pool size, dynamic connection, and all the information for the connection. So here I create the instance of the Appeon dconfig data source. So I go and edit the data source. If the connection is not available, it will return a 1, and then you will be asking to add that data source. So let's see how this works in the real life. And I'm going to my iPhone right here. I'm going to open my Appeon Enterprise Manager right here. And the Appeon Enterprise Manager is a tool that Appeon provides for all your mobile administration or all your web projects. So I'm going to take a look at my data source. I'm going to delete some of my data source because I want so you can see how it's created automatically. So I'm deleting all my data sources. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, I'm going to this application. So when I input the customer's database, here is my data source. I'm going to input another one, the owner. You will see the owner right here, right there. So it's creating my data sources dynamically. If you take a look at the database connection with SQL Server, the IP address, the port, the database, the username, and the password, so you have all your connection information right there. Let's go to create the last one. And that's it. Rivera Uno setup, it's not here, so I'm gonna refresh, and that's it. So we are very glad that with this functionality, every time the user access for the first time to the mobile apps, so the data source is going to be created automatically. I mean, that's one call less to our technical support team. So that's a good savings for us. Every time a new customer opens the app, a new data source is created. Okay, that's it with that topic. So let's go to the next one. Leveraging NFC in retail. Okay, as I told you before, the fashion retail is experiencing a lot of changes because of technology. Instead of products, the company should start offering experiences. And what's going to offer this experience? Well, the technology that you offer at your store is what's going to make the difference. We have the apps for the sales assistants in order to help the customer as much as possible. And the NFC first stands for Near Field Communications, and it's basically a wireless technology to communicate over short distances. These are the NFC tags. You can buy them at Amazon. It maybe cost like 50 cents each one, and you can have many uses for this. As the use that I'm going to show you in this video. Okay, this video represents, I'm going to save some information to the NFC tag. So what I have right here is I'm going to look for an item. So I put the item that I'm looking for. And I'm going to be saving the information of the item, basically just the code of the item, to the NFC tag. Okay, I have the item, I have the tag, I just tap it on my phone, and just by doing that, you save that information to the tag. Okay, let's save that information for another item. And let's have two different products, two different tags. That's a PowerBuilder application, that's a drop-down list box, that's a picture button, that's a data window, everything you are familiar with. So you have your tag, you just tap it with the iPhone, with the Android, sorry, because iPhone does not allow the NFC yet. So right now, imagine that you are a customer, you get to the store, and you want to see the inventory for a product that you like. Okay, so you assign a tag for every item that you have in your store, and basically you can reuse them. I mean, if you have you don't have that product anymore, you can rewrite your tags. Okay, the customer arrives to the store and he tells the salesman, do you have this available on my size? You just tap it, and that's it. You have the picture to make sure that's the same item, and you have the inventory. Okay, I want to see the inventory on this other item. Okay, that's a picture, and that's the inventory information about your item. You have the price, you have the promotions that you have. So you know what I mean about when I told you that the customer experience. Well, what you prefer, that if you go to a store that doesn't have this technology, maybe you will need to wait for 10 minutes when the manager goes to the warehouse to check for the inventory. Or you're giving a customer a good experience because in real time we are showing you the inventory, the prices, the promotion for that specific product. So that's a good customer experience. The customer is going to return to your store because you're giving good service. Okay, let's show you how to do this. As the Appeon workarounds, Pebble, as I told you, that's library that Appeon provides when you install Appeon, has the object Eon Mobile NFCX, and the structure Eon Mobile STR NFC record. So in the open event, basically what you call is you need to make create an instance of this object, and you put it on this object right here, and the function that you need to call, it's object function open. With this, you open the service. And okay, this is the circuit basically inside the tag. So the Android device is going to be sending the information to this circuit right here. You need to provide the information in a structure in which you send the field message type. It's tree. That's basically for a string. And the payload, it's basically the item code that's going to help you to go to the database and go and get all the item information. So this item, it's a 151520. And then you call the function add record, and then at the end you write the records. So this function is when you send the information through the NFC standard to the tag. Well, reading and writing, okay, to read the tag, it's very easy. What we have, basically we have a timer in which we are reading constantly the NFC, and we call this function get and def record, and you get the information in the structure, and so that's when you go and look for this particular item. Okay, I show you the video, and basically that's about it with that functionality. Okay, let's show you another application that we have, that's Super V. Stores have supervisors who make visits every 15 days to see how everything is going. And we created this app to help supervisors to do their job. An app is a very valuable resource because with GPS, we can be sure that the supervisor is in fact visiting the store. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Super V application. Okay, I need to do the login first. Okay, I'm inside the Super V application, and look how nice this menu looks. I mean, these are basically picture buttons, and what I recommend to all PowerBuilder developers, it's that very important that you see side by side with a graphic designer, because a lot of the mobile, I mean, the user will require you a different design that you will use when you build PowerBuilder applications. I mean, you need a better design, you need good looking icons, you need good looking pictures all across your application. So let's create the checklist for that particular store. Okay, here it asks me for the state, it's asking me for the city, and it's asking me for a store. So I'm the supervisor, and I'm telling, okay, I'm at this store, okay? So what happens? The GPS is telling me this. The GPS indicates that you are not currently at that location. So if I'm not at this location, I'm not allowed to do the checklist. So I'm going to change to a real store right here. Okay, so I'm at this store, and the GPS let me continue doing the checklist. I'm going to do a checklist so you can see this mobile application, and I'm going to start. Okay, let's start. Here basically these icons, you have a picture button, so that's nice. You're telling if some things in the stores are correctly or not. So this is excellent, this is good, not or yes. Okay, you can see everything. If something is not good, I mean, you can basically put it right here, and it will tell you, it would evaluate the situation, and I can add comments. So that's a multiple line edit. Okay, you can save it, but you can also take pictures of what's going on. So I'm going to take a picture right here. Okay, take picture. So your camera is enabled right here. I'm going to take a picture. Okay, so you know our offices in Leon, Mexico. This is our new office. We just moved 1 week ago. And next. So that's basically the tool that we are giving the supervisors to do their job. They don't need to do it by hand anymore. And this information is being sent to a central server where the manager can see how everything is going at the stores. Okay, at the end I got the evaluation, and I got a 97 for this store. So I end. Okay, the checklist is saved. So I get a report at the end. So the manager can come right here and make a signature. Okay, they can sign, and that's it. You sign, and that's ready. The signature, it's there at the server right now. So that's the Super B application, and we are going, the next topic is basically the maps functionality. And right here, I have the state, I have, imagine you are a new supervisor, and you know you have 100 stores and you need to go to several cities, and you know really where each store is located. So you go to the city, you select the store, and that's basically the maps functionality that Appeon added in the application. So that's very nice because you don't need to know what the store. Here you get the help, and that's it. Okay, it's very nice that you have the annotation, and you can click on the store and it sends you some information about where it's located. So that's an annotation in the map. Okay, Appeon Workarounds Pebble provides a user object Eon Mobile Map X. So this is a function that I'm showing you. Sorry, let me go to the right there. This is the object that we have inserted right here to show you the map. We need to fill information for this structure. That's the map option and the annotation. The annotation, that's the one that I show you right here, that it tells you where any information you can put about that location. Okay, annotating maps. So the functions to be used, you need the object, that's a user object that you insert on the screen. So you call the open function, and you will get this information in the structure. Then you will add an annotation, so you will send the annotation structure, and let's see what information you put right there. Okay, right here we have customers that need to supervise 2,500 locations every month. So imagine that work. This task needs to be accomplished by 20 supervisors who need to visit 6 stores daily. So the corporate office really needs to make sure that the supervisors were present at the store. So the GPS functionality in the mobile device, it's a great tool for this purpose. For the monitoring, the Appeon Workarounds provides the user object Eon Mobile Geolocation X, but that's basically providing the GPS functions. When you create an instance of the Eon Mobile Geolocation X and put it into this variable, the first function that you need to call it says it's enabled. If the function it's enabled if the function it's enabled, then you just open the service. If the function is not enabled, then it will send a message and tell you that turn on your GPS. Okay? You need to turn on your GPS. So that's basically what you need to do. Let's go to the source code and create a checklist. I already did the checklist. Let me go to the source code. Okay, I'm going to close my Appeon Enterprise Manager and I'm opening PowerBuilder again. And what I'm going to show you, I basically am going to the Super B project, and I need to go to the login. And I'm gonna go to the format, not the login. Super B. Okay, the format. This is where you see the GPS. Okay, when I select the store right here, this is where I check for my GPS. And right here, okay, first of all, I need to have stored in my table the latitude and altitude of my store, okay? So that information, I get it from this table. And, well, once that I want to check, I have this function to verify the coordinates, so I send the longitude and latitude of this store. Okay, so what I do right here, it's basically I need to call this the current position. So if I have my GPS enabled on my mobile device, I get this current location, current position, and the values are going to be stored in the coordinates right here. So I get the coordinates right here from the structure, and I'm going to compare it with the ones that I have on my database. And right here, you are going to get a latitude minimum and maximum, because if you want to be very strict, I mean, it's going to be very hard to be at the same position every time. So you need to play a little bit with these numbers. So we found that if you do a 0.0005, it's like 20 meters. So I mean, if I'm 20 meters away from my store, I mean, it's not a big deal. So I can be 20 meters, 50 meters. I mean, it depends on what your needs are. If you want to be very strict, maybe you change it to 10 meters. So you are going to be increasing this value. And that's it. Okay, see, if the current position is not inside these limits, so you're going to be sending the message that the GPS indicates that you're not currently on that location. So the supervisor cannot do the job. I mean, he really needs to go to the store and do the job. So that's a good tool. So this is the window, that's the drop-down list box, that's the static text, that's a picture button, the normal controls that you are used to work with PowerBuilder. Okay, this is the Super B application. And also that I show you the GPS, I show you the maps. I'm gonna go to the maps also. When you set the information for the map, right here, okay, you select right here, you retrieve the information okay, right here when you do the retrieve, basically you're getting this data window with the information of the store. Okay, but let's go to the retrieve end of this data window, and I'm calling this function, and this function will tell me that basically, well, I need to use the object geolocation X, and first, if it's enabled, well, I will open the service, and that's my object. I'm telling filling some properties, locate current location. I'm basically providing the longitude and latitude, the map accuracy 500, and I'm calling that option. When I call that option, that function, my map is showing. Okay, and what you saw about the annotation, so you put the information on this structure. So I call the Super B. I'm gonna show you Super B. Okay, this is a webinar. This is an Appeon community webinar. Okay, this is a nice thing. I'm gonna show you. The nice thing is when I do the deploy, that's where the magic comes. I mean, because what Appeon is really doing is magic. I mean, they are doing all the hard work. They're doing all this. They are transforming the PowerScript code into the native iOS and Android. I mean, with this button right here, it's going to both iOS and Android, and that's ready. Okay, let's show my iPhone again. I need to close the application. Remember, I want to update I need to have the latest version. So when I close it, Super V, I'm gonna go to the maps. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna select store. So I'm getting the data window with the store information, and I'm also getting the map. Super V can take pictures, as we show you our offices in Mexico. Well, the pictures taken by smartphones are heavy, so you need to resize them before uploading to the server. I'm going to show you the source code for this. The picture that I took with my mobile device maybe was 2 megabytes in size, maybe 1 megabyte. So I would like to go from 2 megabytes to 130K. So the upload to the servers will be very easy. So pictures need to be uploaded to the server so the supervisor's manager can see things at the store. And the Appeon workarounds provide the object see on mobile camera X and to use basically for the mobile device camera. So you need to create an instance of this object, camera X, and the camera option is structured where you put the information. What information we need to provide the object for first of all, the file type, one if it's a picture and two if it's a video, and the allow edit, it's equals true if you want to edit the image after taking it, and then you create the instance of the object. After that, you just take the file and that's it. Your picture is taken and it's stored on your mobile device. Okay, the Appeon workarounds provide the object E on mobile image X. This object is the one that I'm telling you that you can use to make it smaller, make a smaller picture. So you create an instance of the object and you put the file that you want for your small size. Okay, you're going to put this image on this object and the width of you want it on a 200 width and 300 height, and if it exists, well, you will overwrite the file image type 0, and the quality is what makes really change. So depending on the quality of your image, you might want to be playing with this number. Right now with the example we put a 9. But I mean, there are sometimes we use the 5, the 6, and even we get very good quality images. The lower the number you put here, the lower the quality, the smaller your image will be. So you need to do some testing and see what images is good for you, and you go with that number. So after you put the information on your structure, you create the image with option function, and that's it. It will generate the file in your mobile device for you. Appeon includes a file service to upload and download files to the IIS server. So the first thing you need to use this file service is install it. Appeon provides the instructions to install the file service, and it's very easy to install. Okay, once that you have your file service installed, you need to go to the Appeon workarounds pebble that provides the object Appeon file service. Okay, the Appeon file service, you just create an instance variable, you put the directory where you want your apps to be stored, your pictures to be stored at your server, and you need to log on to your file server. You provide, in this case, well, you're just putting in local IP, the port that you are using, and the password, the username and the password that you set when you install the file service. After you log on to the server, you need to upload your file, and you are done. You just need to log off from the server. Okay, I show you also the example of the signatures at the end of a checklist. So this is the in-picture control. You just insert this on the window, and then you start doing your drawings on your signatures, and you just sign it. So the Super V apps gives the supervisor a report at the end of the checklist. This is a report that we give this is a data window, and the store manager needs to agree before sending the report to the corporate office. So he needs to sign right here. The signature of the manager, it's an image that we also send to the server, and the Appeon workarounds provides that object Eon Picture X. And this is very easy to use, believe me. You just need to call the function save, and it will give you a blob file, and that's it. That's your image. So you can upload later to the server. Okay, Google Charts. That's a very nice thing that Appeon added, the web view control. Okay, the Appeon web view control acts as a web internet browser inside your application. You can load HTML pages, PDF files, and execute the JavaScript. Appeon workarounds provide the user object Eon Mobile Web View, so you basically insert this object right here. The function get cached here will tell you where your pictures, where your files are going to be stored in your mobile device. So get the mobile device directory where the local files will be saved. To create this graphic functionality, you will need to create local files. What files you're going to need? Well, you need 3 files. You need the HTML file, you need the Cascade style sheet files, and the JavaScript files. And the function that you need to call for the WebView object is a load local file. The load local file, basically it's asking you for the HTML file in our case. Okay, let's go to the iPhone again. Okay, right there. That's my mobile device. And I'm going to call this administration. So I can have a dashboard, for example, for my users, and I can have many graphics right here. Okay, I call the dashboard. That's an inventory. That's a gauge type of graphic. That's a pie, but that's a different pie that you can see in PowerBuilder because you can add this nice functionality. Okay, if you want to know what types of graphics you can include with Google Charts, so there are tons of graphics that you can add. We go to the gallery. And that's basically all the graphics that you can add. You can add geo charts, scatter chart, column charts. So I mean, when you're creating these charts, so basically you need to send Google your JavaScript. And here's for an example of your code. Code it right here. So you don't need to know anything about JavaScript because they are basically doing the JavaScript for you. So you just copy this. So this graph basically just needed this JavaScript code. So you will copy and paste this JavaScript in your PowerBuilder application, and that's it. Okay, I'm going to the administrator, and I'm going to show you them. Okay, this is a report. This is the graphic that I show you, and I'm gonna just so you can see. I need to create the files. Okay, as I told you, the 3 files are gonna get created. You need the HTML file, you need the CSS file, and the JavaScript file. The Appeon cache there, it tells you where the files are going to be stored on the mobile device. Then you put some directories that you want to store your files. Okay, first of all, I create the HTML file. So the HTML file, it's a very basic. You just put a string. You just put the URL where the graphics loader is located, and you just tell the class that's going to be loading the JavaScript file that you're going to need. Okay, once that you generate the HTML file, you generate the CSS file. And the CSS file, also you need to worry about creating this, because with any HTML editor, basically the CSS will tell you the font size, the type of font, weight, the alignment, the color. I mean, a lot of information about your... So this is a good practice when you're doing any HTML programming. If you do a CSS file, you will avoid a lot of typing, and the code is very easy to read. After you generate your CSS file, what you need to do is, well, your JavaScript file. And that JavaScript file is the one that I told you that's generated in Google. Google generates this code, and you paste it right here. You generate your string. You can get your information from a data window. I do a loop right here and get the information for all the stores. And that's what's going to be sent to Google, and Google is going to make the graph for you. So that's the code that you need to add. And after you put all your JavaScript code, so basically that's what you need to do. You call the function load local file, you call the HTML file, and that's it. The HTML file calls the CSS, calls the JavaScript, and you have your graphics assigned showing you in the iPhone.